Well, after 80 days ago, Celtic, it was the most exciting title race last season in the Scottish Premiership. And as long as Celtic won it on the last day of the season against Hearts. We are kicking off in the new season here on the Banter Boots podcast. Our relaunch, our first new show as well. We are now bringing Scottish football onto the map on this channel with the SPFL roundup, all the games across the four leagues as well too, and also the cup competitions we will do as well. Joining me is my usual co-host, Stefan. Stefan, well, this is a new exciting time, isn't it?
Yes, afternoon, Carl. Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the relaunch of the Banter and Boots podcast, as we're now known. Welcome,
Absolutely as
everybody.
well. Absolutely. So welcome to everyone as well. If you're watching on YouTube on both mine and Stefan's channel, and Willie FC, and also now we've launched on Twitch as well with the Banter
Yes.
and Bulls pod as well too. So like I said, welcome to everyone as well. Please hit that like and subscribe button on both of our on all across our channels as well on our social media as well too. So we appreciate that as well too as well. We're going to discuss everything over the next hour with all across the games across the four leagues as well. And let's, Stefan, start off with Monday last night's game with the champions Celtic against Dundee. Celtic very lackluster. Celtic won 0 against Dundee with Brian again, who was a top scorer last season in the 52 minute as well. Despite the obvious, it was not Celtic's best performance with disappointment. But like I said, Dundee was quite impressive yesterday. Um, well, Stefan, where do you want to start? Either Dundee or Celtic?
Well, for me, the whole game overall, Carl, was actually quite disappointing. You'd think for the champions unfurling the flag and going into the game, you'd think, especially with the couple of signings that we made up front, with Duran and Kaspar Hu from Bodo Glint, you would think that we should have won that game with the Cantor. I mean, I know it's only the first game back, first proper game, but really, Dundee shouldn't have posed much of a threat. But to my surprise, considering they only had one like central defender, Dundee done remarkably well. Hats off to Stephen Presley for organising that kind of resolute performance at Parkhead of all places to kick off their season.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Really good performance from Dundee with their performance, despite the loss 1-0. Like I said, Celtic very lackluster. They've especially with the team that they played last night because of and I actually spoken to my good friend Aidan. I know for Liverpool, and he's a season ticket holder at Celtic, and he goes to the games. So I give his response, his thoughts from last night. So Celtic weren't that good, disjointed, felt like cohesion. Maybe at the start of the season, but expect more. They had the wingers to try to cut in all the time, but not enough overlaps to stretch Dundee. Felt like a continuation of last season. Casper Hugh looked rusty and I don't think he even hit the target. But I think once he settles, he'll be good. Seen enough of his movement, etc., to believe in him. Duran struggled with the physicality, poor display from him. He needs to toughen up. Thinks Engels and Johnson show why they're linked with the moves away, especially in the first half. Both play they were most the first half they were at most positive players.
I have to say, considering there's transfer speculation around Annie Engels and Alistair Johnson, what consummate professionals they are to the club. There was no hint of animosity between Johnson, Engels, and the club. They just done their job. They acted pure professionally. And Arnie Engels was very close to scoring himself a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely as well. I'm just thinking also, and actually, from what Aiden said as well too, he actually agreed that actually it was. I think Dundee had a really good performance and they look impressive. They look like they have a good decent season. But I did say something to him as well. I think they're missing the precedent of that days of Maeda. Do you think he should have stayed until maybe the outcome after the playoff rounds of the Champions League?
Well, if you're a club like Celtic, you would hope all your big players would staying till the outcome after the playoff rounds of the Champions League to see whether we're going to qualify for the group stages or whether we're going to drop into Europa. I actually think Celtic have missed a bit of a trick, letting Dyson Maeda go to Ipswich Town this early in the season. Considering the English season doesn't start for another couple of weeks yet, we still could have got the best out of Dyson right up until probably September 1st, if you ask me, when it's transfer deadline day. But as usual, Celtic have gone early. We've sold one of their best assets early, and they're not going to have a chance to use them again. So we've definitely missed a trick there, despite bringing in Duran and Casper Hoog. We've missed a trick by keeping Holding Dyson Maeda for an extra few weeks.
Yeah, no, he did say something about that, and I think when I spoke to him about it, yeah, and I think I will speak to him more during the course of the season, Aidan, about because he, as I said, I'll ask him about his thoughts on each games coming up now, especially as well, next couple of weeks as well. But as I'm looking at here at the team that started, I will speak to someone in our group chat, in Doug's group channel, Yuki. He's actually from Japan, and he was looking about Rio Hatete, and I said he's not going to get a start, and I said because I think he only had total 2,000 minutes last season at Tate, and I said I have a feeling he's going to move away. He's been linked with a move away to MLS as well as a league, and also he was linked to West Ham last week as well. So, and that's still an option, even though Engels was linked to West Ham as well.
I can see Engels definitely going, but only after the European qualification. There's a scoreline down the bottom there for anyone who missed it. But only after European qualification is assured for Celtic, whichever competition it may be in. As in for Rio Hatate, if you let him go, who are we going to get to replace him? That's the thing.
Yeah, it is, especially he came under when Big Ange, especially under the Japan connection. That seems like it's now fading away now completely. So you see what Celtic will do in the business coming to the end to the transfer deadline day.
The transfer window is going to be very interesting for Celtic now because they've spent a total around about 16, 17 million for Casper Hoog, including the add-ons. We've sold Maeda for 10 million. They've got Duran, who I don't know much about, I'm afraid, other than the fact he's Colombian and he looks a lot like mini Alfredo Morelos, apparently.
Yeah, well, Martin did say he did play out a little bit out of position because they didn't have time for him to play together yet. So it's something that is still a work in progress, especially with Durant and you the two players.
He did do one good bit of skill inside the box where he turned the Dundee player inside out, got to him byline, crossed it in, and Celtic just missed that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely as well too. But like I said, it was expected goals from Celtic last night. It was 2.55. They were pretty wasteful, really was.
Yeah, when you think of all the chances he had in the game and how lenient Matthew McDermott was as a referee last night was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely as well too. It's question as well, and we got let's have first. Please give me your comments in as well. Let's see from Doug. Yeah, good. How are you doing, Doug? Fair juice to Dundee. That thought they play well at Celtic.
Yeah, exactly. Doug. Welcome in, Doug. Welcome into the SPFL roundup. Easy for me to say right, my teeth in.
Absolutely as well. So yeah, I think there's questions. I think for Celtic, to try to improve their season, to improve their quality towards the start of the season. We'll see what happens. But like I say, credit to Dundee where they did well actually last night. I think Stephen Presley came with a good plan, and they've kept Celtic at bay pretty much for most of the game.
I think Dundee's going to be fine this season.
Absolutely as well too. Yeah, I agree as well too. Right, Stephan, you lead on to the next game that's coming up for the banner.
All right, so we've got the thriller of the weekend. St Johnstone's first game back in the Premiership. They got promoted at the first time of asking through Simo Valakari in the Finnish invasion. They actually beat Killie 4-3 at the weekend on Saturday afternoon. And what a game this Sunday afternoon, sorry, yeah. And what a game this was. It was an absolute thriller with action all over the pitch and some great goals too. And well done to St Johnstone for winning on their first game back in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, really good win for St Johnstone. You know, there's a reason why they were champions last season, and the way they've been playing quite well actually. And
to be fair, let's be honest, they walked the championship last season.
They did. They walked it so much last season. No wonder they were the third favourites after that relegation the season before. I just said, you know, a really good start as well. And both sides, you know, really held a lead. And then, you know, it was a really proper attacking attempt for both sides. And like I say, there's a reason why St Johnstone were the complete champions in the championship last season. And I think, you know, like I said, I think the players that they brought in as well, St Johnstone, you know, especially
got some good players in already.
They do. They have some good players as well. Like I said, the players that they're looking at who they bought this season, just look at the transfer window that who they brought in as well, just to get that up as well. Because I think they're a little bit, they might be comfortable of staying up this season. I think now there's nothing to worry about them this season. I don't think there's any issues at all. I think, you know,
I think they're going to be fine. And one thing I would want to speak about on St Johnstone was because they went down to the championship and they walked it, they managed to retain at least 70% of their Scottish Premiership squad.
Absolutely.
From the season before. And that begs the question, do Scottish teams that get relegated get a small parachute payment from the SFA? Maybe not as big as our English counterparts, but do they? Because they managed to keep hold of their squad when they went down pretty convincingly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some good sides. Like Macaulay Tate, who I know from Hearts, Toby Stewart coming back for the second long season from Paul. So that's a vital one, Toby Stewart, and they've got some good players. They got players, Jonathan Sedberg from IFK Mannheim from Sweden as well. You know, and as well, yes, they lost Uche Ipaku to Moss County. Adama Sebi has gone to Stockport County in English League, Sky Bet League 1 in England. So, but they have done well, especially they made the eight signings, and I think they will. I think, like I said, to get Zach Mitchell back as well from China is another good deal. What they needed to do, why they walked that championship last season.
What I should say is, when we change talking about teams, we will play a little video to show you which team we're going to be talking about as well.
Absolutely. Well,
we're so excited we forgot to play St Johnstone's.
Well, don't worry. I'll tell you what. Let's talk about Killie. There you go.
Killie.
Right.
Killie. What can we say? It's pretty much we've continued from where we left off last season, I'm afraid. Shipping 4 goals and scoring 3. That's a goal difference of +1, which is good for them. But I think Killie is dicing with the trapdoor again this season.
Yeah, I worry about Kilmarnock completely, especially. You know, the whole game is going to be vital now because it's on a grass pitch now, because the rules are Scottish football this season now that not like teams like Killie will cannot play on artificial. I'm focused. They now have to play on natural grass now going forward from the season.
As well, I think too. Yeah, had a synthetic pitch for a while.
Yeah, they have. So it is worrying. And I look at Kilmarnock signings. I like I said, Marco Howard.
To be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. They got Bailey Rice from Rangers on the loan transfer, but the players they've lost as well, like Lewis Mayo, as you know, as well too, who's gone to Aberdeen, Bright Lions, and also they lost Calvin Miller from us as well, so to Hearts as well. So it's a worry at the moment for them. It really is, and especially can they stay up this season? That's another question. I worry about them season, and we'll get to our predictions later on in the show, but we both kind of always knew that we're feeling that this could be the time they could go down this season.
And I'm sorry for as great a pundit as he is, Neil McCann, for manager. Not managerial material, I would say. Kilmarnock need somebody stronger than Neil McCann to steer that ship.
Yeah, so do I as well too. I just, I think they're lacking a bit of depth as well. I just think that with Neil McCann, I know he had his previous job at Dundee in the past, but I just feel like this could be that. It's like as we both said, it's going to be that season that they could go down, and I wouldn't be surprised at all anyway. As well,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I looked at the preseason, pretty much. I don't think they had enough time as a team to gel together. Actually,
no, their preseason campaign's been quite poor actually.
Yeah, absolutely as well. It's a worry. It's a worry as well too. It really is. Like I said, to quite honest, the Doug he says it's very harsh on McCann. They will be fine. So it's interesting to see what happens with that one. Listen, I just look at Killy's season. It's just because a lot of players have gone. And I think with Carl McGannis leaving, with Alan Shibboleth going as well, David Watson going to Bolton, so and Lewis Mayo going to Aberdeen. So I'm just worried about
at least half of their decent players gone out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Just half of the players have gone out the door completely as well. It's going to be players like Joe Hugill and Tyrese John Jules, and they're going to have to be vital to try to keep them up with their goals this season if they do want to stay up. Because it's a bit of a worry with that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next scoreline, and let's go to the game between Falkirk and St Mirren. Let's talk about Falkirk losing to St Mirren 2-0 as well. Well, Stephan, let's talk about Falkirk for a couple of minutes. John McGlynn said Falkirk were very naive on Saturday. Do you agree with him the way they lost that game to St Mirren on Saturday?
I do. I mean, it was a bit of a coupon buster for me as well. My coupon was over before it even began with that result. But you know what? Despite that result, what we've got to remember is it's only game one. I think John McGlynn and Falkirk will be fine.
I do as well. The way they finished last season, I think the way they finished well last season, it was very good. It was very good, tremendous for those for that team, and especially they got promoted last season as well. I think Falkirk, I should define it as well. I think looking at the signings, I did say Calvin Miller was from Falkirk, supposed to be from Falkirk, not Killy. So I just corrected myself with that one. But I look at Falkirk's signings, the players that have brought in, and
some good signings, by the way.
They have made some good signings, to get Ben Carris from Brentford on loan with Aidan Doherty from Blackburn Rovers as well. And even getting Lewis Nielsen, keeping Lewis Nielsen for another season on loan as well, which was really good for them as well. So I think it's not surprising the way they've started well. They lost the first game, they've good sides. I think they're going to be fine completely. I have no doubt at all for what John McGee. He's a good manager. He was, he's still linked to the Bully Scotland job, even though what's happening with that situation, time will tell.
I think he's personally ruled himself out. He wants to focus on Falkirk, which fair dues.
Yeah, I agree. I think I support him as well. I think because, like I said, he's been linked. I know he was, his name was mentioned, but he's happy what he's done at Falkirk. He wants to build on from their good performance last season as well, completely. And I'm just seeing I think they want to get more players in as well too. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a couple more players in, but leading up to the game, their goal was ruled out by the handball. Was that a fair decision, or was that
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Falkirk at home with a formidable side. So for St Mirren to get that result at the Falkirk Stadium, well done to St Mirren considering where they finished last season.
Absolutely. So let's get on to St Mirren right now. Actually, with that, we'll talk about them. I want to be in that number. Oh, when the Saints go. Right. Good win for St Mirren, Stephan. Really huge win for that. Good win for them, and they're now top of the table as of this moment stands. And we thought St Mirren was in deep trouble last season, but they survived so well. And like I said, I'm looking at what they've done in the transfer window this season as well, and just like bringing it up now. Like I said, they've got a couple players from the championship as well, but particularly they've gone well to get Samuel Ramos from Malavache from the Slovenian league, Luke Thomas coming from Bristol Rovers in the English League 2 as well, and also get they've not needed to do much, but like I said, they've lost some good players.
And they've kept faith with Craig McLeish as well after giving him a job on an interim basis last season.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Did as well, and like I said, they lost some key players with Mark O'Hara going to Killy, Scott Tysier going to Falkirk, and Osher Smith dropping down Leeds to Patrick. So, but losing the big one was Dan Nodalou, who's gone to Romania play for Potro in the Superliga. So, but they've done quite well to keep the core base of the players that they had anyway. So I think you got to give credit for what they've done.
And I think they're going to be just fine. I know you think they're going to finish slightly higher than I did, but I think they'll just be okay.
Yeah, I think it will be okay as well, yeah. Well, like I said, good win for St Mirren at Falkirk Stadium on Saturday as well. Let's go to Friday night's game. Let's say to talk about Dundee against Rangers, and let's talk about Dundee first, Stephan, before we get to anything as well.
Okay.
It's a beautiful It nearly was a beautiful day, Stephan. Like I said, Dundee.
It was a beautiful evening, yeah.
It was a really good game, and I think Dundee, they were pressing against the debut of Derek McKinnon's first game in charge at Rangers, as well. Like I said, Rose luckily Rose bundled his fourth goal of the season. It was very scruffy, but he got it.
It was, but he got the goal. I think Dundee United's going to be fine. They're going to finish in the top 6.
I have them. Yeah, I have them somewhere in the top.
We've got them in the same place actually, but they're quite ironic. I think Dundee United's going to be fine. I think if
Thank you, Doug. I know. I get this.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, Dundee United. I know.
I think if Jim Goodwin gets his way in and gets a few more players in the door, they're going to be fine. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Because they almost were on Friday night. We could win that game by at least 3-1 easily. Easily 3-1.
Yeah, absolutely as well.
We had all the chances. But I tell you something, I fear for Rangers and Derek McInnes.
Well, let's get on to Rangers right now. Well, Stephan, it's same old Rangers compared to last season. Again, bit of a slow start for them. Again,
Well, where do we begin? There was all the hype of getting Derek McInnes, Shankland and Devlin from Hearts. They've now been nicknamed Rangers of Midlothian because there could be a few more players swapping cities before September 1st. I don't think you want to hear that, Carl, but it's true. I think Rangers were very, very lacklustre. I think they've made a bit of a mistake letting Butland go to Hull and bringing Panda up the other way because he just looks out of his depth, especially with that first goal. I don't think that's the caliber of goalkeeper that Rangers want or Rangers need. I think that was a panic buy because you've got rid of Jack Butland.
I think it's not just a panic, but I think because Hull had to sell, they had to sell some of it to make sure because they had financial issues. And
I
get that, but the problem is you've stopped him for Jack Butland, who's gone overweight. So technically, it was a swap deal in that matter, which it just. Yeah, it baffled me when I said, look at the signings, what they've done. Getting Dan Neil on free from Sunderland, Ben Godfrey on the loan from Atalanta.
Dan Neil and Ben Godfrey are good signings, right? Let's not take anything away from that. No. They'll be good in the defence, obviously, because between them, they've got big shoes to fill, replacing James Tavernier, of course, who left Rangers at the end of last season.
Yeah, absolutely as well. It's a bit of a slow start, especially Rangers got to get through this week because they are playing in Europe this week with it, And
like game on Thursday night for Rangers as well, yeah.
Yeah, and especially the loss of Oliver Antman, who's now gone to Anderlecht as well.
Well, Antman's gone, but I know you don't like me saying this, but I really don't think that Derek McInnes is finished raiding his own team, Heart of Midlothian yet.
No, I still have a feeling they're going to look at our players. I wouldn't be surprised if they look at bloody Braga because I have it.
You took the words out of my mouth. I know Braga said in an interview to Lucas Randall at Sky Sports that he wanted to stay at Hearts. He wanted to play for Hearts this season, come what may.
But it's silly money. If silly money comes, we have
Exactly. The thing is, money talks in transfer business. And if it's going to be silly money like 15, 20, 25 million, I'm sorry, but you guys are not going to turn that down.
No, absolutely not. And they're in talks with the Japanese winger Daisuke Yoka from Hanover for around about £3.4 million as well. And also earlier today, they did reject a bid from Frosinone in Italy for Friars Grenadis after Celtic had a £6 million offer turned down. So it's a lot of things that could happen. It's going to be a lot of incomes and outcomings out of Ibrox as well. You can see. Do you think Derek McInnes will get time compared to what happened in the past with Russell Martin and Danny Rowe and so forth?
Well, it all depends. I mean, if results don't go his way within, say, the first 8 to 10 games, he could be in slightly icy waters. If I'm being totally honest, Rangers have gone out on a limb to get McInnes. They've taken him from a job he was very comfortable in, I thought. So, I mean, it all depends on the Rangers hierarchy, doesn't it? Whether they want to give him that time. But if I was a betting man, I would say, and you're going to hate me for this, Carl, but it's 50-50 at the moment to whether he gets time or not.
Feels like it is, but knowing with
Rangers, the chances are it's a bit slim.
It's slim, but I think he get more time because he played for the club, and I think this, it's what Rangers fans wanted for quite a while because they thought he could be the main man to save the club.
I'm not being funny. If that's the case, then the same could be said for a certain Mr. DG in Edinburgh City.
Yeah, I know as well. Right. Do you know what? Moving on from Rangers, we've got to talk about the two of our own clubs, Stephan. And let's start off what the game at Pittodrie, and let's talk about Aberdeen.
When I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen.
Well, Stephan, Stephen Robertson, despite he could have lost his first game of the season.
How lucky was he? If he had the horse up his backside, I want to know what size it was because I want one up mine.
I know. Well, like I
That
said,
was lucky.
yeah, listen, like I said, Aberdeen had a good chance to start off in the first half, but we came a corner, and then somehow with the free kick and then getting the lead up to the goal, and then getting the penalty towards the end. And like I said, Aberdeen still unbeaten against Hearts at home,
Yeah.
and it's been an issue for over 16 games now. And I have to say, give credit to, like I said, I will speak about Hearts shortly, Doug. I can see, yes,
the last time you won at Aberdeen was 2013.
Yeah, exactly.
2013.
What do you think of Aberdeen this season? After what happened the season before they won the Scottish Cup, they struggled quite a bit last season, but bringing C. Roberts in, who stabilised after Jimmy Taylor, as well.
Sorry, 2016, I apologize.
Yeah. All right. So where do you think can Aberdeen do well under Stephen Robertson this season? Because this is going to be a good question point now.
You've got them
inside season.
You've got them inside the top 4. I think I've got them 7 in my prediction. I mean, Stephen Robinson has promised exciting, intricate football at Aberdeen. Now, I'm not being funny. It wasn't a classic on Saturday evening by any stretch of the imagination. Both teams were, let's just say, as bad as each other. And Aberdeen just got lucky towards the end. I mean, where does see Aberdeen ending up? Bottom 6. And that's been generous. Unless they have a great transfer window, we need to improve.
They do need to improve. Like I said, I looking at their signings they've done since the start of the season as well. I have a feeling they're going to bring in a bit more players coming in. They brought in Lewis Mayo from Kilmarnock. They've also gone a bit across continental and across the world as well too. Especially Graham Shinney, their long-serving players now gone to Invi Caliphate. So they brought in, Brad Lights from Kilmarnock as well. Tony Young from Brentford as well.
Chris Cadden.
Yeah, and Lewis Cadden as well from Hibs as well too. Yeah, so they brought in some players, not just in Scotland, because it's a question of what they do. Because I have to say, it's like we both said. I see them in the top 6. You see them in the bottom 6. This is going to be interesting how their season's going to do well, because they had a bit of a mixture of their pre-season a little bit. Like I said, they done well. So give or take. I think it's going to be to see what they do at the moment, Stephan. That's going to be the interesting part. So time will tell. Right. Let's move on. And this is the big talking point.
We have to do it, Cal. Yeah, we have to do it, buddy.
I know.
Glorious heart. It's time to take us away.
Straight off the bat, for me, you've got the wrong man in the dugout, 100%. Tony Bloom's made a big mistake.
Listen, let me have my say with Walter Vankin. I understand because
really?
they had to.
Really?
No, let me just get this out of the way. I understand the frustration for me is, especially when a manager is not managed in Scotland, and it's a big risk, okay? And that's something I say. I think after losing McInnes, right? Have we not learned the lessons completely about what happened under Neil Critchley when he was brought in 2 seasons ago? And this is a worry because we've lost a nucleus of the players that we lost, especially with, like, say, the Shanklin, Devlin, Begerman's not there anymore. Who else we've got rid of as well? Frankie Kent, who's now gone to Oxford in England. Alan, Chekhov, who did work well, we thought, coming from Kazakhstan, he's gone back to Kazakhstan. Sholo's now left to go back to Germany. We stand right there. It's a mess, and it's a huge situation we're in, Stephan. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The players that we brought in, we're lacking in the back in that back line in the centre back position with Fagan Walker out injured at the moment. We're very light. Especially Finley getting sent off in the game for the red card. I know Hearts are trying to appeal it, but I just don't know. I just don't know what he could do, especially the way we performed in the Europa League, in the Champions League against Sturm Graz across the two legs. I'm just worried about when we play against Benfica on Thursday. That's a huge worry for us now. Even if we lose that in the Europa League in across the two legs, we have to go to the conference where we might have to play Atalanta as one of our potential. So it's a huge worry for us, Stephan. I don't know what you want to have a say on this one.
Well, if you hold on a second. If you ask me, like I said, it's a big risk having Walter in the dugout. It's just giving me Nancy vibes all over again.
Yeah.
And I think if he doesn't have a good run over the next couple of weeks, he's going to be in dicey water. Now, I know ultimately it's the foundation of Hearts and budget on the club and stuff like that. I know Tony Bloom's only a minority.
Non-voting rights. He has an influence,
Non-voting right. He has an influence, but surely if something as big as replacing McInnes, everybody would get round the proverbial table, thrash it out, not just go on the sale of Tony Bloom because he's had him at his Belgian clubs or whatever that he owns.
Yeah, and also Brighton as well. Now, look, because he could do that in Scotland, it's different because of the large club, because the big clubs of the old firm dominance. That 10-year plan. We thought if we won it last season, and a lot of people be saying it. I don't think this is going to ever happen in 40 years' time now because it's just going to be dominated by both the Glasgow clubs now after Hearts missed out completely last season on the last day last season.
Yeah, and if you ask me, like I said to you on video call, the thing is, if Hearts do get rid of Vulcan and Phil Sinas, who do we bring in to go in the dugout?
I don't know.
And then if you get rid of Braga, for example, to you know who, Rangers and Midlothian is we're now christening them. If he goes to there, for example, who are you going to bring in to replace Braga?
I don't know because I've been hearing that Elton Kabangu. Let me just finish. Here's the thing. Because we have Elton Kabangu, I've been told, and this has been confirmed by the Edinburgh Evening News, that he is now on the transfer list now. He's requested to leave the club because he's been told by Walter Van Konen he's not part of his plans. And then you have James Wilson, who's not playing much from last season after that bit of that move to Spurs under 21. There's a question who takes that leadership, who's going to lead that front up front, and then we don't have that.
I think Walter Valkonen is pinning his hopes on Barcy by the sounds of it.
Yeah, you listen. If you sell one of the best players in the Scottish Premiership last season to Rangers, who was the player, who's more better player than Shanklin was, who are you going to bring in? Can replace those goals? That's the biggest one. I think we focus too much up front and midfield. We focus on the back four, which we needed a centre back pairing because with Fagan Walker injured. It's so I don't know, Stephan.
Don't forget Craig Gordon's gone to the coaching staff as well. Then we believe too.
Yeah, well, he's already retired. So I don't know if he's gone to the backroom staff because I don't see him. I don't think he ever stayed in the backroom staff from what I've been hearing. So I think he's like left the club altogether. So
you've basically gone from your best season in about 60 odd years plus to a state of toxicity within 80 days.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's in 80 days. It's been a nightmare. It's been a maximum. We've not just lost the players we've lost. We also the key staff behind the scenes it's. I did not expect we were gonna if it was gonna be ripped up within 80 days, Stephan. That was unexpected. To compare to it, yeah.
We've basically taken the foundations from last season and we've smashed them to smithereens. And if you don't get a move on, you're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. Shall we talk about the other Edinburgh Cup now?
Yeah, might as well do, Stephan. Might as well do. And yeah, Motherwell beat Hibs on Sunday 2-1 as well. Let's start off with Hibs. Stephan, give us your opinion. You was at the game on Sunday. Give us your response.
Lackluster, flat, rubbish, crap. Where do you want me to stop? We played good for a 15 to 20 minute spell, but that was it. That was literally after we scored. We played good for a 15 to 20 minute spell, then we just give up as we usually do. Something is toxic at Hearts, but something is also very, very toxic at Easter Road right now. Wouldn't you agree, Carl?
Absolutely. We had this talk on Sunday, didn't we, where we talked about why both of the Edinburgh clubs are not being so successful, especially it's the capital city of Scotland, even though it's the smallest because of the small population compared to Glasgow, which has the two biggest clubs, not just in Scottish football, but in world football altogether. Let's get that one out of the way. And I thought about that because of their dominance. Could you ever see something on the lines of of both the Edinburgh clubs ever competing for the Scottish Premiership in the next half a century? So,
no, certainly not. Well, we're on the surf, my friend. To quote the Proclaimers, certainly not. Most definitely not. Hibs transfer policy, and I think Hearts to an extent as well now. Hibs have always gone down the route of what I like to call try before you buy, i.e. we use the own market to fulfill us. I think Hearts are going to be doing that under Walter Valgren and Martins, but I think if David Gray doesn't get his act together, and Doug may think this is harsh, and I don't care because I'm a Hibs fan, you're a Hearts fan, I can say this. If David Gray doesn't get his act together, regardless of club legend status or not, he's now in the business of where it's a results business. If you don't get the results, you're out the door.
Yeah.
You will forever be a club legend, but you need to get the results to go along with that and to keep your job. And I can see by mid-September, David Gray being in the local dole queue.
Yeah, I know.
The question is, though, who do you bring in to replace David Gray?
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to ask you, because you had not too long ago, you had Bill Foley and buying some shares into the club a couple of seasons ago. Why did that not work out so well? And look at what's happening now.
I'll tell you for why. Because when Bill Foley and the Black Knights invested into the club with plans of having Bournemouth as like a sister team, as like a feeder team to swap young players with to and from, clubs. Bill Foley's money, as I said to you the other night when we were having a good chat about this on Sunday, Bill Foley's money came with certain conditions, i.e. it had to be spent on the training facilities, which it was, don't get me wrong, and on the field of play, i.e. investing in player staff. Now, sadly, only one of those conditions were met. Bill Foley and the Gordons got around the table, they had a discussion, and at the end of it, Ian Gordon thought he knew better, and he packed Bill Foley off into the wilderness. Now, for me, that was a very, very stupid move. Because just think, if we had his money, if we had his investment Where could we have been now?
Yeah.
Instead, it's the same start to every season. You go into it with hope and optimism, and during the first game, you see the true playing style and creativity of your squad. And let me tell you, selling Chris Cadden to Aberdeen on the quiet when nobody knew, that was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. When you said that to me, I thought he played again. He played on Thursday for you
Played
guys.
against Manasiva, came on for, I think it was the last 20 minutes or last 25 minutes. Came on, done well, and then on Saturday at about 5:45 when I put the game on, 10 minutes into it, he's winning number 28 for Aberdeen. What gives?
Yeah, yes. As I said, the way we were talking about both our clubs, Stephan, it just sounds like one of our it's either two of our both our clubs going to sack their managers sooner if the things don't improve by mid-September. It just feels like
the only one that'll be laughing out of this is currently Doug and Reese. They'll be laughing at us right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
They'll be laughing because they've got all the goalie. Because let's be honest, we all know who the top 2 or top 3 are going to be in this PL Premiership this season without a shadow of doubt. Fair enough, it might not be the way that we predicted, but we all know that those 2 big Glasgow clubs are going to be up the top in some way, shape, or form. And if we don't get a move on, both our clubs are going to be in a relegation battle pretty quickly.
Yeah, pretty quickly as well too. It's a worry, Stephan. It's a worry with that one as well too. Let's move on to Motherwell before we bring up the tables and our prediction as well. Before we talk about also our prediction, the roundup of the Championship in Leagues 1, Leagues 2 as well. Let's talk about Motherwell next.
Far ahead of green and blue, they'll remember Motherwell for many a day.
Despite everything, it's been a good start for Motherwell under the new manager Alfred Janssen after Emir Sahid Sapulga secured a narrow win at Easter Road. And Stephan, despite Motherwell losing so much of their key players that did well last season and their manager as well, they've really gone from strength to strength despite they've sold some players for good profit, and they brought some good players in as well.
I mean, let's be honest, they've just continued where we left off last season, and they have managed to hold one player that I would like to get my hands on, and I'm sure you would as well, Karl. Maronese up front. I don't know how we've done it, but so far we've managed to keep hold of him. And if you can keep hold of him beyond September the 1st, they're going to finish really strongly again.
Yeah, I see Motherwell being in that top 6 again this season, Stephan. I think, like I said, yes, they made a Hugh Elliott Watt go. Also had a good season, a decent season last season when he joined from Albion, and because he was linked with Rangers last January, he's gone to Turkey to join Trabzonspor. And like I said, Elijah Just went for big money around for big profit money as well, but they've kept that squad despite losing the manager, especially with Jens Bell Askel's not to lose. They've really, like I said, have done quite well to keep that business going. And like I said,
they've worked out with Alfred Johansson, by the way. He could have easily come to Hearts or Hibs or any other team in the division, but he chose Motherwell. And I think it's a stroke of genius by Motherwell, and they're going to finish really strongly. At times on Sunday for Motherwell, it was a training exercise because every time Hibs get the ball in the final third, they always play it backwards and it always ends up at the goalkeeper. And that's a really frustrating thing.
Yeah, it is. Like I said,
you just can't go forward, but other teams can, and other teams don't fear coming to Tynecastle now or Easter Road because they know they're going to get a chance to play.
Absolutely as well. So they go away to Finland to face HJK in the first leg this week, and then the following one
They'll beat Helsinki, by the way.
they will beat Helsinki. Yeah, they will beat Helsinki. You know, they had a comfortable win in the Faroe Islands against Haver Botafat. You know, so it's not surprised with that one at all. Actually, so
No.
yeah, no, absolutely not. Right, Stefan, let's get the league table up after we've discussed all the teams now at the moment, and let's look at the first week of the Scottish Premiership season as well. So at the top of the table, we confirm here, St Mirror are now at the top of the table after the first win of the season. St Johnstone's behind them, along with Aberdeen, Motherwell, Celtic, despite the lackluster win in fifth, with Dundee United 6, Rangers, Kilmarnock in the bottom half, with Rangers old team, the draw in the bottom half, Killie, Hearts, Hibs, Dundee, Falkirk start with a loss, and the opening loss in the opening game of the season as well. So complete as well. Let's talk about the fixtures for this weekend's coming up this weekend, Stefan.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so both Saturday, Sunday, like I said, we'll talk about Dundee home to Aberdeen, St Johnstone go away down to Pacers to face St Mirror, and then big games on Sunday: Kilmarnock against Celtic at 1:30, Hearts against Dundee United, Motherwell against Falkirk, and Rangers at home to Hibs. And it's gonna be something. It's gonna be another tough game.
Doesn't get any easier. I can see Rangers beating us comfortably. I can see Dundee United getting a result against Jews. I can see St Johnstone, St Mirren being a draw. And I can see Celtic comfortably beating Kilmarnock.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a dreadful weekend for both our sides. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not looking forward to it at all. So,
shall we do something slightly more fun?
Yeah, go on then.
Shall we give everybody our predictions of where we think the teams are going to finish this season?
Well, I am trying to get that up, and that's the question. But the thing is, because of the OneDrive has been a bit of a shit show with my word, it has problems to let me load up. So I'm trying to find it, but I can remember where I put the team. I remember what our teams was going to finish. If I can open a copy one, that might be better. It's not. So yeah, I hate OneDrive with a passion. I really do. But let me tell you something. If I can go into my mobile app, I can open it from there, and we can discuss it actually a little bit more. So I'll just get my Word document up now, since that's a bit the issue. I hate because the PC version of Word does not work well, and yeah, I kind of hate it when it has issues. Yeah. So right, let's get this up anyway. Again, I can't open the file. It won't let me open the file on that. So yeah, but I'm just going to remember where I did put the teams, actually, Stefan. I'll start with mine first with this one. I did put Celtic to win the league again, and I think you did the same as well. I put Rangers second.
I didn't.
No, you didn't. So where do you put Rangers? You put Rangers fourth or something? Third. And who do you put second? You put Motherwell.
Quickly send me the file by email, and I'll see if I can get it up.
Well, that's the problem, because it's having issues. I'll have to do it again at some point. But I do remember where I did put this fortunately. But I can remember where mine was, and hopefully you can remember yours. So I did put Hearts third, even though I'm gonna be wrong with that one, and that's why I'm just gonna do it. So yeah.
So I done, wait for this one, folks. I done Celtic to win, Motherwell to finish second, which Carl thought was a very bold move.
It's very bold, I'll give you that.
Rangers to finish third, Hibs to finish fourth, even though I've just said it could get a lot worse than that, but I was trying to be kind. Hearts to finish fifth, Dundee United to finish seventh.
Yeah,
Dundee United to finish sixth.
Yeah, I put Motherwell fourth in mine, and I put Aberdeen, and I think Dundee United sixth. Yep, as I recalled it, and I put your lot in seventh place in the bottom half.
I put Aberdeen to finish 7th, I think. I put, from what I can remember, Command to finish 12th, St Johnston to finish 11th.
I put St. Mirren 11th with that one, and I put Killy down at the bottom.
St Mirren to finish 10th. Dundee to finish 8th. And
I put Dundee 10th, and I put St Johnson 9th, and then Falkirk 8th.
Falkirk to finish 9th. That's what I got.
Yeah, I put Falkirk 8th actually. So yeah, and then just seen.
Doug's given us his predictions of this.
Okay, he's going for St Johnson to be relegated, St Mirren to be in the relegation playoffs. He thinks Rangers are going to win the title, and so yeah.
Well, I think it's Kilmarnock's time to go down, and I think it'll either be St Johnson or St Mirren joining them in the playoff.
Yep.
And Doug, of course, will be smug because we are just going to move on to the championship in just a second.
I know. Very smug.
I can feel the smugness radiating off his smile right now.
He's the only one out of all of us had a good weekend, right? So, yeah.
I bet their first fixture was at home to Queen's Park, so you would think that, wouldn't you?
I know.
You got the luck of the draw with the first round of fixtures, Mr. Doug.
Yeah, he did. He definitely.
You could have got the likes of Partick Thistle, Dunfermline, Inverness, Cali Thistle, but no, you drew Queen's Park.
Yeah, lucky.
Jammy or what, man?
I know he's very lucky. It's not surprising as well. Right, let's get onto the championship roundup, and it's for the next couple of minutes. We'll do the Leagues 1, League 2 as well. So let's look at the fixture, look at the results for the championship on this weekend. Stefan, as I get them up right now, because there was a lot to, I would say, interesting weekend. Let's get this up now in the Scottish leagues as well. So the Scottish Championship. So actually, goals galore with that one as well this past weekend. I have to say, Livingston winning against Queen's Park, Stefan 2-0 at home as well, and they're definitely going to walk that league as well.
Oh God, you're right side of doubt, Mr. Smugness on the right hand side of the screen there's probably jumping up and down with joy at work right now as he's watching this podcast. I think Livingston's going to walk it. I think we're going to be back in the Premiership for season 27-28. No problem at all.
Yeah. I have to agree with that one. 100% that one. Also, Partick Thistle winning away at Green at Morton. Again, both Livingston and Partick play against each other this Friday live on BBC Scotland as well.
On BBC, yeah, because of course, guys, don't forget that the Friday Night Football is now back on the BBC Scotland channel every Friday night. We get a top game from the Scottish Championship. And I think the games that Livingston are going to feature in there just going to walk. Is it going to be the case of so near yet so far again for Partick Thistle? i.e., are we going to continue their marvellous streak of losing in the two-legged playoff final to get to the Premiership? Or are we actually going to do it this season and get there?
Well, yeah. Well, they have to break that lead. They have to break that
lead. I think they could have a challenger in Dunfermline Athletic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I really do.
Speaking of Dunfermline Athletic, disappointed draw at Envy Cali Thistle, despite Envy's got promoted back last season. They put a work. I think Dunfermline didn't play well. They actually Inverness had 7 shots on target compared to Dunfermline's 2.
You could say a disappointing draw, but at the same time, you could say a well-earned point for Dunfermline Athletic going to Inverness Cali Thistle and coming away with the result there. Even if it is a draw, it's a steady point you can build on over the coming weeks.
Absolutely, you can. That's a good point as well, actually. And like I said, A United winning 2-0 against Arbroath as well. They're going
Well
to
done, United, considering all the turmoil we went through the end of last season, second Scott Brown and stuff like that.
Gary Naismith coming in as well, which is I think he could be that.
Good appointment for them, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be challenged. I think them and Livingston are going to be fighting between that top spot completely.
Oh, of course, last season's championship relegators Ross County are back in League One, of course, as well, which is a bit of a sore point for the chairman, Roy Bain.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And then one more game across the weekend, Ray Forest drew 1-1 against Stenhouse Muir as well.
What a point for Stenhouse Muir, let me tell you. Craig Campbell that does a view from the terrace with the Hearts boys and Hibs boys?
Yeah.
He would have been jumping up and down in their way in the Rafe Rovers.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely.
What a point for them. What a point.
It's a good point for them. It's a good point for them as well. And look at this.
Oh, here we go. There's the table.
Yeah.
So by virtue of goal difference.
It is. Yeah. A United
goal difference because they're both on 2 goals.
Well, the thing is because it's alphabetical order, remember? So A, they start beginning A, so that's why A is top of the table with Livingston and Pat Thistle just behind it, Ray for Rovers, instead of Fuhr in 4th and 5th. Dunfermline at 6th with Indy 7th with the losses for Greenock Morgan and Arbroath and Queen's Park as well. So, yeah, interesting, with that table as well. Let's look at Leagues 1, Leagues 2 now, Stephan, just briefly as well before we wrap things up as well. Let's start off with League 1, Scottish League 1 as well. Also, looking at their results, like I said, 5-goal thriller for both East Kilbride, who got promoted from League 2 to beat Queen of South 5-1.
So you could do it as a 6-goal thriller. Yeah.
Well, 6-goal thriller. Sorry, you're right. Actually,
well done, East Kilbride, most definitely.
Do you know what? When I went to watch against Sparks, they were the most difficult team we played against.
Yeah.
And I think they deserve their point. The why they got promoted.
See, it just shows they come from non-league, but we've got money behind them. We've got financial backing, so it just shows. And I think that they could be challenging for a automatic promotion right up to the championship.
Yeah, I could see that as well too. If they
I cannot argue against that.
Yeah, I can see that they continue their good run with form. I really do as well. And I think even for Hamilton as well, they won 5-0 at Montrose as well. I think they're going to be up there as well too, as well.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Montrose aren't the greatest club in the world, are they?
No.
Both for men and women's side are pretty pants, to be honest.
Yeah, and especially it was a starting the new season game for Ross County after being relegated from the championship. They won 1-0 against Peterhead away at Peterhead. And do they need to now try to walk that league this time now, Stephan? Or did you see them struggling? They need to, look at what happened last season where they struggled rapidly after the way they lost to Livingston, the season before they should be stayed in the Scottish Premiership.
I think Ross County need to walk this. Because if they go down to League 2, they'll be back in the Highland before you know it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So worry as well. Other games was 0-0 at Oliver against East 5 and Close Range against Adronians as well. Let's look at Scottish League 2, Stephan, as well. Also, that kick off with a new season as well this past weekend as well. And actually, let's go for the results. Good start for Spartans. To win 4-2 at the Athletic after the disappointment season they had last season towards the end of missing out on the promotion and playoffs.
Yeah, well, Mr. Doug and Spartans were 2-0 down at halftime, so it was a good comeback win for Spartans.
Absolutely, and also a personal congratulations to Mark Stowe from Spartans. He's just, him and his partner just had a newborn as well too. Clyde also were fighting in that top half last season. They beat 3-1 against Stranraer as well. Elgin City beat Edinburgh City. Yeah. Aye, good win for Clyde. And Elgin City winning 5-0 against Edinburgh City. There's loads of issues at Edinburgh City, despite the
Edinburgh City's going to be going back to Women League, I think.
It feels like it is this time of season after they had that points deduction last season. But tremendous credit the way they stayed up. I give them credit for that. But yeah, I just think they're going to struggle this season. I really do as well. Celtic Hearts losing away at 4-5 at 1-0, and Sturby Allen beating Dumbarton 2-0 as well. So let's look at League One table, Stephan, as well, and Leagues 2 as well. So get those tables up. And for the Scottish League One.
On you go, Cal, sorry.
Yep, just looking at the tables here, that Hamilton, East Club, and Ross County had the wins. They're in the top 3 at the moment, while the Enjoyers make up the top 4. Our Athletic and Coverage, if I have the draw, and Peter Queen and South Montrose in the bottom 2 at the moment. And in Scottish League 2, we go as well. Elgin City at the top of the table with Spartans behind him due to goal difference. Clyde and St Albion make up the rest of the top 4. Forfar, Kelty, Tranmere and Dumbarton, along with Edinburgh City at the bottom side as well. So yeah, absolutely. That is the result of the roundup for both Leagues 1 and League 2 in Scotland. And Stephan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say as well, when it does start back up, we may feature a small section on the SWPL as well, because it does come under the SPFL umbrella.
Yeah, we will do that. We'll get content of women's football this season, especially with Scottish women's football, and we'll get that content up as well too. But like I said, Stephan, we've got to the end of our first show. We've discussed all of our teams and so forth as well, and as well. Who had a good weekend altogether across the 4 leagues?
Well, you've got to say the defending champions started well with a 1-0 win. You've got to say Motherwell had an excellent weekend. St Johnstone definitely had an excellent weekend, as did St Mirren, as did East Kilbride, as did
Elgin City, Spartans, yeah, and Clyde.
Dundee United. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Yeah,
everyone except Rangers, Hearts, and Hibs, I think.
Yeah, I think the less to say about it, the better.
Yeah. Well, guys, we hope you'll enjoy their very first SPFL roundup. This show will be happening every Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Absolutely, as well, Stephan, as well. And please, for everyone who's also trying to hit that like and the subscribe button as well. If you missed this show, you can watch us here on YouTube as well. And this also will be uploaded onto our podcast platform services such as Spotify and Apple as well. So please keep an eye on that. So hit that like and subscribe button as well. So, like I said, thank you very much for everyone for tuning in as well. We really appreciate your time as well. We will see you guys at the same time next week at 2 p.m. And this will be the last show I will be doing before, because I go away. So, Stephan, that following week, you're gonna have to do the show because I'm gonna be jet lagged the Tuesday after. So, coming back from Toronto. So, yeah.
Unless we do a pre-record.
We could do, but the problem is because I fly on that next Friday. So
next Friday, don't you? So I'll be flying solo by the looks of it, unless one of our esteemed guest panelists want to join me.
Well, yeah, we'll see anyway, depending on the
website. Working, of course. If not, I'll be flying solo.
Absolutely, but I flown solo a couple of times as well on my own, so you'll be all right anyway. But like I said, Stephan, thank you very much for as usual. I'll see you at the same time next week as well.
Yes.
We'll discuss on the next match day too this weekend as well too. But like I said, please hit that like and subscribe button across all of our channels, including Steph's channel as well. That's streamed on as well, and also on Twitch as well. If you follow on Twitch as well, hit that like button so you can keep eye on our future content as well. But yeah. So that's all we got time for, everyone. Guys, we'll see you at the same time next week at 2 p.m. This is the SPFL roundup with myself, Karl, and Stephan. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. It's goodbye from us.
Bye.